Now we're going to Lakers at Denver. Game one happened on Tuesday night. Denver was, I'll get into it when I talk about, but I'm gonna pass it off to John here. John, Denver took one at home. Now listen, they took a shot to the gut towards the end, but they were able to survive and get up off the canvas. Talk to me about what happened.
Well, the first quarter, the Nuggets didn't even belong on the same court as the Lakers. It looked like they're the Harlem Globetrotters just dominating in transition. And the offensive class was Nikola Jokic's. He had 10 rebounds in the first quarter. And I'm sitting here like, you know what? This is why Jokic is the best player in the world. And I've said this so many times. He's the best scorer, the best rebounder, and the best playmaker at his position. But he might not just be the best at his position. He might be the best at those three categories in the whole league, right? And then the second and third quarter, the Lakers start to chip away at it. And then in the fourth, they come and they just don't die. And one thing that really stood out to me was defensively, the Nuggets, I actually felt Jokic early on did a pretty good job making Anthony Davis work and hit super tough layups and finishes. But as the game went on, both he and Jamal Murray had a tough time on LeBron and Anthony Davis. 80 goes 3 of 5 in this game. Vintage 80 in the bubble, which we don't see nowadays. And I'm like, you know what? The Nuggets are going to play drop coverage against Davis because he's not a consistent shooter at all. He even made a corner three in this game and didn't miss a single foul shot. But really, the bigger issue was Jamal Murray had 31 points. This was one of the worst defensive performances I've ever seen from him because he kept switching on LeBron and Rui Hachimura. And when Jokic was off the court, too, they had no size at the rim to protect him. And then he's trying to switch on to LeBron, and he's not getting down to Austin Reeves. He makes 5 threes. He made 2 or 3 out of pick and pop. And the Lakers just keep chipping away at this lead up until the fourth, where it becomes a one-possession game. Jokic has Rui Hachimura switch on to him, and this is always the big concern. It's Anthony Davis playing off the action, and the Lakers hold him to 2 points, just 2 free throws in the fourth, and it was so close. I started to shut my mouth and like, all right, let's see what happens here, because the Nuggets lose this game. Well, they're going to lose all the momentum in the series. Luckily, by the graces of LeBron trying to go for 2 points when they're down by 3, Jokic gets a strip, and they come out with the take. They come out with the win, surviving Anthony Davis's best offensive game this postseason, where he dropped 40 points. We don't see that like literally ever. And he and LeBron both had to play 40 minutes in what still was a loss. That to me is not a moral victory for the Lakers. That to me is, wow, they may be gassed for game 2. And that puts the Nuggets in a pretty favorable position to again dominate in the first quarter, just like they did to get the narrow takeaway, the narrow W back at home to start this series off. I don't know how people are saying it's a moral victory for the Lakers. I really don't.
It's a game that they should have won, and especially when you score 72 points in the second half, you have to find a way to win that game. That's the whole reason why and it infuriated me in previous series watching the Knicks about starting fast. It's all the more important when shit like that happens. If you could score 72 points in the second half, imagine if you get off to a better start early. You easily win that game. Maybe not easily, but you still win that game on the road in game 1 in Denver. You needed that. So that's a tough one for the Lakers. But can somebody please, I know the stat line, but I want somebody to do it for me. Read off Jokic's stat line.
A quiet night, Justin, of 34 points on 12 of 14 shooting going into the fourth quarter. He ended up missing all 3 of his shots in the fourth. So he finished 12-17. So 34 points on 12-17 shooting with 21 rebounds, 14 assists, and 2 blocks in the first half.
I laughed when I was looking at that because it just feels like this guy's playing 2K. He's playing with a video game remote in his hand, and he has it on rookie. The dude had 19 points in the first half. He's just an absolute monster, and there's really I don't think there's an answer for him at all. He's going to leave his imprint in his game on this series. Win or lose, he's going to make an impact positively on his squad. Now, yeah, his defense can be in question sometimes, but I don't think he's as poor a defender as people make him seem to be. So, I honestly, the Denver stealing game 1, which is, I believe they were favored to win that game. They put themselves in a big advantage right now, a chance to go up 2-0 going to LA, because I honestly believe if Denver goes up 2-0, the series is over. I don't believe the Lakers come back from that.
So preface my comments, I have Denver in 7. I said Denver was going to win at home. I actually said that I think
Both
the
games?
home. Yeah, I actually do
Yeah.
think the home team. I think they're just going to win out at home. I got to be honest with you. So I don't think the series is over if if Denver goes up 2-0 because we've seen them struggle on the road, and the Lakers have actually been incredible at home. They haven't lost at home either in the playoffs. But about this game, it seemed, especially early, every time the Lakers would make a run or try to get it close, that freaking Jamal Murray would make a big shot. Michael Porter Jr. would make a big shot. Jokic would do some crazy shit. KCP would make a big shot. Bruce Brown would make a big shot. It just seemed like every time Lakers tried, these guys would just – it would go in, it would go in, it would go in. Early, I'm talking
They're
about.
quick off makes.
Yeah. Now, I'll get into that later. But I said Jokic was making the game look easy, to speak on him. But I also said that I think AD would be able to make it difficult, make him work, slow him down a little bit. Not shut him down, because you're never going to do that. These players are just too good. But slow him down. Now, taking game one with a grain of salt, because it's the biggest toss-up, blah, 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 blah. But Jokic thoroughly dominated Anthony Davis through 3 quarters. We'll get into that.
Good practice.
Now, this is what we call a series of games, right? This is not a one and done. This is a series of games. And you guys say, how does somebody see the Lakers took a moral victory from this? Well, because they might have found a recipe for success. John alluded to it. Jokic, you said he missed all of his shots in the fourth quarter?
0-3.
Yeah. There's a reason for that. It's because Darvin Ham finally found what he was looking for. And it definitely wasn't playing 3 freaking guards. I can tell you that much. All right.
Bench D'Lo.
Definitely what? Yeah, they're probably gonna have to bench D'Lo, and there's a chance that if they bench him, that I don't know. I'm not gonna try and compare him to Jordan Poole, but you could lose him mentally, basically. But you got to do what you got to do to win the series. Hachimura, putting Hachimura on Jokic, and if you watched the game late into it, I forget who was calling the game. Was it Mark Jackson and then Van Gundy? And then even afterwards, Jalen Rose, Wilbon talked about it. JJ Redick talked about it. Everybody talked about it. When you put Hachimura on Jokic, it's not about the fact that Hachimura can stop Jokic. He's not. He's about 6'8", 6'9", 235-ish. He's a big body, right? He's not a small man at all. But he can be a tall, big body in front of Jokic or behind him. And now it allows, and John spoke to it, Anthony Davis to roam, play free safety. But what everybody else has seemed to forgetting too, it doesn't just allow AD to do that. It allows AD and LeBron to do that. Now you got 2 Ed Reeds out there, or a Ed Reed and a Troy Polamalu, maybe. You got 2 of those guys out there that can roam, play free safety. And we know Anthony Davis, those long-ass limbs getting out there, he can disrupt passing lanes. LeBron, highest basketball IQ in the freaking game. He's going to see things coming before they even happen. I'm not saying that, because listen, the Lakers made their adjustment, and this is a game of adjustments, right? Denver has to make their adjustments. They're gonna make theirs. I'm not going to say the Lakers will win game 2, because I do still think Denver is going to win game 2. But they have found a recipe for success. And if Denver doesn't do anything about it, it could cause trouble for them, because Jokic started to get frustrated late in that fourth quarter. He did. When those shots were not going in, he was getting a little frustrated, going like, God damn it. You know what I mean? So one thing I thought, this was a funny thought I had. The having Hachimura on there and having AD and LeBron roam, it's kind of like playing NBA 2K, if you guys have ever done that. Ever played NBA 2K. And having the computer guard the guy, basically playing off-ball defense, which is the dumbest shit ever. If you have NBA 2K and you buy that game, that is a $60 game. You have paid $60 to play 50% of that game. I will never understand that. Never understand that. But that's kind of like what it was. But yeah, I think Denver's going to take game 2. But John alluded to it too. Benching D'Lo, because D'Lo, if you're and listen, I've been, I guess, the biggest defender of D'Lo on the show. If you're going to be on the court getting major minutes, you have to produce offensively because that's what you're there to do. Because defensively, you're not holding. He's about 6'1", 6'2". He's slight. He's not holding Jamal Murray. So if you're not scoring, you're a liability on that team, and that's what I do think. Game 2, you're going to see the lineup of Dennis Schroeder, Austin Reeves, Hachimura, LeBron, and Anthony Davis, and I think that is the winning lineup right now.
You're muted.
Your thoughts?
Hello.
Look, I'm a little bit on the middle of this discussion because, look, if they tried Jared Vanderbilt on Jokic, he got into foul trouble quickly. He had 2 fouls in the fourth quarter. This Rui Hachimura plan that he's going to guard Jokic and more so just get underneath him because the low man always wins, I don't think is going to be something they can rely on because he's going to pick up fouls. But the other element too is that the Nuggets stopped moving the ball in the fourth quarter. They're best when it's Jamal Murray, Nikola Jokic, 2-man games working in comparison, working together, and more so getting all those shooters, MPJ, KCP, Bruce Brown now apparently, and to an extent, no, that's bad. Aaron Gordon's not going to be working off action, but Aaron Gordon can set a ball screen. They need to take him out to the low man, the dunker spot, the shallow area where AD can guard him in the rim at the same time, because AG is a more than capable 3-point shooter. He just needs to take those looks. Jeff Green was actually benched for Aaron Gordon, and Jeff might be a slightly better corner shooter. You put Aaron in the corner, he makes a couple of shots, then AD is probably going to start to leave the paint and go and guard him. If Aaron's missing, you put Aaron in the action, pick and roll, and you run Aaron Gordon and Jokic together to get AD switched back onto Jokic. Yeah. Now you've got Aaron Gordon sealing Rui Hachimura on a dive to the rim, and Jokic can maybe hit him on a pretty ridiculous pass, which he's typically going to be able to make. And that's going to be a nightmare for the Lakers if they can't even get AD, if they have to deal with AD getting switched back onto Nikola. But I think the biggest counter to this would be running more Jamal Jokic pick and roll, having Nikola work off the action and get him moving. Make Rui Hachimura guard him more on the perimeter where he can't get in front of him. If you get Jokic on the move and you also get him going in transition, well, then I think a lot of this plan to have Rui and AD both working in person, we've seen it before. We saw it last year at Draymond and Looney. We saw it this year at PJ Tucker and Joel Embiid. It works for stretches, but I don't think that's going to stop Nikola Jokic in this series.
Well,
it's nice. It's a nice idea. Yeah, it looked good in the fourth quarter, but I don't think something like that is just going to be sustainable. I feel like Mike Malone and them are going to figure something out to scheme it open, you know? I feel like Jokic will be more than fine. I think, yeah, it's nice to employ that late in the game when a team wasn't expecting it. But if that's what you're going to throw out for 4 quarters of a game, a team's going to scheme against it. Good coaches will find a way.
Yeah. No, I hear you on that. And listen, it's not going to stop Jokic. I'm not. That's foolish to say. I said, like, they're not stopping Jokic. And I don't think it's going to be 100% Hachimura on Jokic. I would imagine AD's going to get him sometimes. LeBron's going to get him sometimes. Right. Hachi's going to get him sometimes. Vando's going to get him sometimes. Hell, I would even love to see maybe a Tristan Thompson sighting for 5 or 6 minutes.
God, no,
yes, Brandon. No, yes. No. For 5 minutes?
Oh, no.
For 5 minutes. Tristan
Don't do
Thompson,
that.
Listen. Oof. See, this is what you're not hearing, John. This is what you're not hearing. It's not the fact that Tristan Thompson is this all-time great defender. He's going to stop Jokic or something. It's the fact that Tristan Thompson is, can we agree he's a menace? He'll scrap at you. He'll fight. Can we agree on that? Right? Is he underset? Like, these are not. What happened?
It's been a while since he's been like an actual rotation player. I don't know,
but man. John, you're not hearing me. 5 or 6 minutes. Like this is not
5 or 6 minutes is a lot.
Might be a -10 by the end of that 5-minute
Yeah.
stretch.
I
Might
really
be a
don't
negative
think
10.
so. I really don't think so. I think for 5 or 6 minutes just to get AD some rest or something like that. And dude, he's got 5 fouls. He can foul Jokic and rough him up a little bit. Like that. Like this is we've seen this.
He's got 6. You don't want him in the game. He's
It
got
doesn't
full 6.
But it
He's
doesn't.
got
No,
full
no, no,
6.
no. But all I'm saying is 5 or 6 minutes, like stretched out throughout the entire game. I think Tristan Thompson would be a great addition, especially because him and LeBron do work very well together. Listen, Tristan Thompson's a menace. He's going to scrap. He's going to fight. I'm not saying he's going to shut him down. I'm just saying 5 or 6 minutes. This guy's going to come in. He's going to bump with Jokic. He's going to rough him up a little bit, try to get into his head psychologically. I'm not saying it's going to work. I'm just saying that is a strategy to attempt. I really hope Mo Bamba can get healthy for this series because he is a true 7-footer. And I'm not, again, John keeps making these faces. I'm not saying these guys are going to stop Jokic. Understand the words. It's just a body to put in front of somebody so AD doesn't get in foul trouble, so AD can get arrested, so LeBron can get arrested, so all these guys it's throwing bodies at Jokic. That is all this plan is. I hear you. Nobody's stopping Jokic.
No, what I'm telling you is that it's going to be ugly because they're going to run in transition.
I get what you're saying. I
If the Lakers want to take the 2020 approach with JaVale and Dwight Howard guarding Jokic, which worked very well, you need a guy that's actually playing the last year. I haven't seen Tristan Thompson, the NBA player, get dusted off in over a year. And I don't want to see him in the series. I forgot he was on the Lakers. I barely even knew that. I've seen him more times this year on television. And why I'm laughing at that's because I think the Nuggets are going to run them out the gym in transition. The Lakers aren't going to be able to guard space with Tristan Thompson roaming out there because Jokic is shooting 50% this year from downtown. You want him to guard Jokic in space? Well, now the Nuggets are going to surely exploit that and run a million pick and rolls until he's like a -15, not a -10 in 6 minutes. And now Darvin Ham's like, oh, I've been doing so good. I've benched D'Lo. I've got the right lineups. I'm making all these chess moves. Man, it would be some nasty cooking if you put if you put Tristan Thompson on the floor. Nasty.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I don't agree. Listen, I hear what you're saying, and I agree those things can happen, but I don't see it that way.
I understand what you mean from the premise of just avoiding AD.
Yeah, he's just a tough-ass guy that's going to be up there and just going to fight with it. Like, again, like, yes, can he be taken advantage of 100%? But, like, I don't know. This is just plans to get in there. You got to try something, man. You got to try something. And, hell, if it starts to work, that's great. If it doesn't and John's right and these things start accumulating – you call freaking timeout and you say, get back on the bench.